Welcome! You're cooking with Mrs. Salisbury, and we'll be making baked potato soup. A nice large pot. Hopefully you'll have some leftovers. So first of all, let's get started. You'll need 5 to 6 large russet potatoes. Bake them. Make sure you poke them so they don't explode. Bake them, and when they're done, put them on a sheet pan, slice the top open, and let them cool. And when they're cool enough, then refrigerate. Once they're about 41 degrees or below, then cover them. And then when they're totally cold, peel them and cube them. I have 6 cups of baked potatoes here. Make sure you take that peeling off. Okay, next, with the onion, I have some damp paper towel. I'm going to put my cutting board on top so it doesn't move. You can see I'm pushing, it doesn't move. With the miner's meatloaf, I showed you one way to do an onion where you leave the root in because it'll keep the onion intact. That's one way to do it. Another way is to take an onion, cut both ends off, the stem end and the root end, and then slice it vertically. When you do that, as you know, you'll have all the little rings coming across, so you can also just come straight down because we want a small dice. I need 1.5 cups of yellow onion. So since we already have this, I don't have to go in and slice horizontally. You could just do the vertical slices all the way at the end, and if the end isn't quite there, then you can just cut like this, remove any peeling, and then you have, maybe at the end you need to do a couple chops, but let's get all these together. So there's just a nice chop. Set the knife over here, 1.5 cups. So I'll put the onion in here. May need that knife here to scrape this up. Okay, that's good. A couple escapees here. Be careful with onion if you have dogs, so we don't want them to get a hold of it, so I want to make sure I'm picking up a few pieces. All right, let's move this right on over. So next, I'll see you over at the stove. Well, we're here at the stove, and I have 5 tablespoons of butter in my 5-quart pan, and I have our 1.5 cups of onions. I'm going to turn it on high for a minute, get that cooking. To that, well, there's a piece of onion peeling. There we go. I think I got it. To that, we'll add 1 teaspoon of basil, 1 teaspoon of parsley. We'll add 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And we're going to cook these onions until they are translucent. So that means you can see through them. So we're stirring them. Right now I have it on high. I always like to put the herbs in with the oil or the butter. Locks the flavor in nicely. So let's do that. We'll get this cooking here. The onions are now translucent and turning a light golden brown. We'll turn the temperature down to about medium, and I'll add 1/4 cup all-purpose flour, and I'll stir that in. And that will thicken the soup up just a little bit. And then we'll add our 8 cups of chicken broth. There's 4 cups. Another 4 cups. Turn it back on high. And we'll bring it to a boil. While it's coming to a boil, we can add a teaspoon of Worcestershire and 4 shots of Tabasco. And while it's coming to a boil, we can also add our potatoes at this point. So remember, the potatoes are cold because we had them refrigerated. And we can bring all this to a boil all together. This is really fast to make if those potatoes are baked, so when you're baking potatoes, just bake a few extra. And then you'll have baked potato soup practically ready to go. Our soup is looking lovely. It came to a boil. I brought it to a boil for about a couple minutes and it's thickened up nicely. As you see, it's a beautiful golden color. I'm going to go ahead and add our 2 crushed garlic cloves. You put that in at the end and it gives a nice layered flavor. So we need to make sure we stir that. I'm going to turn the burner off as I'm stirring the crushed garlic in. And then I have 1 cup of half and half. I'm going to put that in next. So I'm just making sure that garlic got all mixed up here. And the burner's off. 1 cup, half and half. Stir that. And I'll see you over at the counter. Next, the best part, top with cheddar cheese. Top with some green onions and sour cream and bacon bits. Our bacon bits are on and all of our toppings. Thank you for cooking with Mrs. Salisbury. Like and subscribe. See you next time.